Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be painting Godfrey from the very awesome video game Elden Ring from start to finish. But first of all I want to say a huge thank you to the Army Painter for sending me out the complete set of airbrush paints that I've used in this tutorial. Also to Woofu Workshop, the amazing 3D printing service that printed me Godfrey. And lastly, the Airbrush company who provide all my airbrushing equipment. Okay, we're going to start off by using the Army Painter's matte black perfect primer. You'll see here I'm using my Water Eclipse CS airbrush and I'm slowly building up the black primer base. I'm not keeping the airbrush situated on one area at a time. I'm keeping it moving and making sure I don't build up that primer layer too thick in any one area. Now we're going to paint the entirety of Godfrey in the Army Painter's Air Paint Plate Mail Metal. I'm working at about 20 psi. I test that the paint's coming out nice and freely on that rotating turntable, and now I'm just placing the plate mail metal on the entirety of the miniature. Don't worry, obviously certain parts of the miniature is going to be painted in different colours, but I feel it's easier to get the metallics out the way first because they can be a bit messy, and then we can block in the other colours on top of the metallics. Now we're going to use Speed Paint 2.0's Noble Skin as a complete all over wash on the entirety of Godfrey. It's important to note that I've thinned this down 1:1 with the Army Painter's Airbrush Medium, and I'm just going to give a heavy wash to the entirety of Godfrey. Shining Silver is going to be dry brush on the entirety of Godfrey. What that's going to do is bring out all those raised surface details and start to make all the metallics really pop and come alive. We're going to be hand brush painting Thunderstorm, which is an air paint. These paints can be used to brush paint as well as using the airbrush. I just want to make that perfectly clear, guys, so don't feel that you can't use a regular brush with them, because you can. The reason I'm hand brush painting it is because I don't want to make mistakes and get any paint on to the metallic areas of the miniature. So I'm just going to brush paint that. We'll come in with some airbrush blues a little later on that will just slightly highlight over this colour, but for now I'm using a Winsor & Newton Series 7 size 4 brush. Now we're going to use some Tap Air Ultramarine Blue, and we're going to be airbrushing that just to create some nice highlights. I've switched over to my Iwata HP CH airbrush, which is the Highline, which is a much finer detailed airbrush, and I'm able to get some really nice highlights on the cloak or cape, whatever you want to call it, with that ultramarine blue colour. Now we're going to use some Stormwolf Air for some hand dry brushing, and I'll remove most of the paint on some paper towel or possibly even the rotating turntable, and then I ever so lightly brush over the miniature using this colour, and it's going to just pick up all the edge highlights and make that cloak pop. Now we're going to start concentrating on the ghost, or the lion ghost I should say, that's situated on Godfrey's shoulders. We're going to use the Yeti White, and we're just going to paint the entirety of that lion ghost, if you will. Now we're going to be using Ashen Stone, which I thinned down 50-50 with Airbrush Medium. You can use Speed Paint Medium, whichever you're most comfortable with, but I find it's too stronger paint to use undiluted on white, or the Yeti White as it would be that we just used. So it's diluted 50-50. Now we're coming in with some Army Painter's Fanatic Matte White, and we're just dry brushing over all of that lion, and it's going to really start to pop and come alive. What you might not see me do in this video is come back in with my Raphael 8408 size 2 brush and do individual strokes of highlight on the lion to really create that nice ghostly white effect. I forgot to record myself painting the flesh of Godfrey, but I actually used bleached bone instead of a flesh colour, because I know that the speed paint that I'm going to use, Warrior Skin, is going to coat over this bleach bone so nicely and create such a nice skin texture that I didn't actually use a skin tone flesh paint. Again, I thinned down the Warrior Skin a little with some Airbrush Medium, and I'm just applying it on all the flesh areas. This is obviously going to create shadows and highlights. Now we're going to be using Fur Brown on the very bottom quarter of the cape, and we're going to be airbrushing it to create a subtle feathered effect where it's quite dark and prominent at the very bottom tip of the cape, but then we're going to blend it in as it goes up higher up the cape, as if dust has been kicked up onto the cloak. Now we're going to concentrate on the base of Godfrey, which is like some kind of concrete shrine. We're going to get really messy here with a very large dry brush. Don't worry if this doesn't look too good. Trust the process, guys, as the saying goes. We're just going to hit the miniature all over the base, I should say. And we're going to come back in with some airbrush colours and some washes, and it'll all come together in the end. Now we're going to start airbrushing some crow hue onto the base. Now we're going to apply an all-over wash through the airbrush using Speed Paint 2.0's Grim Black. Again, I thin it down with Airbrush Medium 50-50, so 1 part Speed Paint to 1 part Airbrush Medium. Once that had dried, we're going to come in with some Algae green from the Army Painter Speed Paint range. And we're just going to add some subtle green algae effects to different little sections of the base, especially towards the bottom areas and the corners. Now we're coming back in with that crow fur. We're going to dry brush again. And as you can see, it started to come together really nicely. And here we have our finished Godfrey from Elden Ring, the video game. I really hope you like this video, guys, and if you have, hit the like button, or even better still, leave a comment in the comments field down below. I want to say a huge thank you once again to the Army Painter, the Airbrush Company, and also Woofu Workshop, who printed this amazing miniature for me. This is for sale on eBay as I go live with this video. So if you are interested in owning this really cool miniature, go on over to my eBay. There will be links in the description box and comments field down below. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.